Remember that first quarter taking about 4 hours, it seemed like. It just seemed like I say, the first two ball games, everything went like clockwork. No mistakes, no adversity. And then all of a sudden, Ashland and turnover on the very first play, and then it was a nightmare.
We were really emotional for the game, but just at the right level, not too high to where we screwed up.
No mistake, the name of the game for Ashland football this year. Up by 20 points, the Ashland defense bends, but certainly doesn't break. Roseburg closes within 20-14, but a touchdown and a two-point conversion to open the third quarter ices it for Ashland. 28-14, the final.
And that was exciting because I felt going into the season that they probably had the best football team in the state if we didn't. And, you know, after that win, I felt like, shoot, we're probably going to see those guys again down the road, and it's probably going to be in the state championships, and I'm going to look forward to that.
For the pregame show, I'm Bob Akamian, Channel 2 Sports.
So the rematch is set, and there's no question the two best teams in the state are left to battle it out for the big prize. Roseburg and Ashland made it this far by playing solid, intense football. However, Ron Carlson reports philosophies on both sides of the ball are different.
It's a classic matchup of Roseburg's power versus Ashland's speed. Roseburg's strength game was bolstered this season by the return of every skill position player from last year's runner-up team. One of them is number 44, fullback John Young. He rushed for over 1,000 yards this year, and in last Saturday's semifinal win over Gresham, John carried the ball into the end zone 4 times. Roseburg's other ground force is speedy tailback Greg Fogle. He also cracked the 1,000-yard mark this year, rushing for over 1,200 yards. Greg really put up the numbers last weekend, gaining 198 yards against Gresham. The offense is brought together by quarterback Pokey Fugate. He's in charge of making sure the Indians control the ball and giving them a chance to mix up the plays.
I think we're at our best if we can throw the ball a little bit and set them back and then run the ball a little bit, you know, just vary our offense. You know, when we get things going like that, then we're a strong team.
Roseburg's offensive line is anchored by one of the keys to the Indians' grind-em-up attack, 310-pound Heath Howington. But perhaps even bigger than Howington is the Indians' playoff experience. 10 straight years in the playoffs, and their 3rd straight year in the championship final.
You know, I think that's why we do have so much success is, you know, the 5 extra weeks, 3 years in a row. It makes everybody better. You know, it's like playing the whole extra season.
On the other
most near all ball games.
For the pregame show, I'm Ron Carlson, Channel 2 Sports.
Pay close attention to the first quarter. Will nerves be a factor for Ashland? Remember, they've never been here before. Or will Roseburg fall behind and be forced to play catch-up, something that changes their ball control game plan? There is one stat to remember. Ashland has outscored its opponent 103-19 in the first quarter this year.
Coming up next on the pregame report, we'll take you to the cities of Ashland and Roseburg for a close-up look at state championship fever.
Both towns are excited and proud of their football teams. When you talk about Roseburg, it has a rich history of football tradition. As you take a look at the city, keep in mind it rallies around its team, win or lose. But the town is used to winning football. Since 1977, the Indians have missed the playoffs just one time. For Ashland, well, this is all a brand new experience. Townspeople love their Grizzlies. For the city of Ashland, today's championship battle is the ultimate. Bob Pregame visited both Ashland and Roseburg prior to today's showdown.
Championship football is getting to be old hat in Roseburg, so another trip to the finals is not exactly setting this town on its ear. By the time the Christmas decorations go up, it's time for the high school to play for another title, or so it seems. But don't get the idea that these folks are ho-hum about the Indians.
I think it's a real big deal. The kids are really excited about it, and I know my daughter is. It's her senior year, and she wants it to be this year because they've been 3 times already.
Oh, this is what I call small-town America. Everybody really gets into it. We go to all the games, and lots of people go.
It's a big deal to have a team go to the championship, and they're going to be champs this time.
Roseburg is on the edge between being a small and a large town. The 16,000 residents here live in the economic center of the Umpqua Valley. And when you think of Roseburg, you think of timber and mills.
We are a timber-based community. The folks around here, the majority of them do work in the mills, and that's what Roseburg is really known for. But tourism is an up-and-coming industry as well.
But the mills are still the heart of the economy. Last year's strike has left a lasting mark on local business. The population here is being bolstered by newcomers from California, folks seeking the small-town atmosphere and quality schools. Ashland, too. I'm Bob Pregame in Channel 2 Sports.
For the first time ever, it's guaranteed a Southern Oregon Conference team will win the state championship. That's what happens when 2 teams from the same league play for the title. Before Roseburg and Ashland even kick it off today, the Southern Oregon Conference is a winner. This past decade, critics of the conference have said Southern Oregon teams have fallen behind in upgrading their style of play. Instead of diversifying their attacks, Southern Oregon teams supposedly stuck with their brand of grind-em-up football. But nobody can argue with success, and this conference has proven it is second to none.
I think there's been some great teams down in Southern Oregon Conference, and I don't think this conference has caught up with anybody. I really feel there's some other conferences that need to catch up with this conference. We do not see the same thing each week down here in this conference. I notice some conferences, looks like teams run the same stuff, the same offense and the same defense. This conference, these coaches have different plans, different ideas, and each week you're preparing for a different look, looking at something different, and I think that's what really helped us for the playoffs.
This is Ron Carlson. To some, it was a shock to see no Portland area team in this year's championship game. The past 3 years, the Portland metropolitan schools have dominated this championship, with Glencoe, Lake Ridge, and Benson claiming the title. But this year, the Southern Oregon Conference dominated the playoffs, with 2 schools sweeping the honors for the first time in the history of this game. Gresham got a taste of Southern Oregon-style football last week when Roseburg ran over the Gophers in a 42-20 semifinal victory. Head coach Gary Stotts is convinced these 2 teams are for real.
When the season started, the people around the state had a feeling that the strength of the state this year was going to be in those 2 teams down south. And by both those 2 teams being in the championship game, I think that just reinforces that message. There's some good football teams that aren't playing football this week, but those 2 teams certainly have earned the right to play for the state championship.
Last year, Benson experienced its first ever state football championship, beating Roseburg from the south. This year, the Techmen fell 2 wins short of the title game, while Roseburg returns once again. Benson coach Bill Dressel says he respects the southern schools, but feels there's a clear-cut difference between north and south.
In the metropolitan area, there's a zillion things that can dilute the kids' interest, and we don't try and we don't get their attention 24 hours a day. They don't eat, sleep, and drink football, and I think they do a little bit more of that down there. I'm not saying that they dictate their lives, but I think it is more important to them there.
So for only the 3rd time this decade, a Portland area team will not play in the state football championship game. 1989's game belongs to the South, and today it's their time to shine. For the pregame show, this is Ron Carlson, Channel 2 Sports.
When the pregame report continues, we'll show you what Ashland and Roseburg high schools are all about. Also, a close-up look at a unique radio play-by-play broadcaster. That's all coming up next.
1 o'clock from Eugene, right here on Channel 2. Next, we'd like to take you inside both schools represented in today's championship game. Ron Carlson begins his report with a look at the Grizzlies.
Ashland High School is one of the smallest Class AAA schools in the state. Just 622 students in grades 10 through 12. But the presence of the Shakespearean Festival has brought a strong cosmopolitan influence, reflected in the interests of the student body.
For example, our art and drama, business and marketing, and debate, they are filled to the max every year with kids not just taking a class because they want to cruise in it, it's because they want to learn something. So all that varied interest from the community has that trickle-down effect to our kids.
And the captain says, "Oh, you are a good man, Pregame. You can ship on my ship any day." And Ishmael says,
"What?"
Besides drama and business, Ashland students are active in art and foreign language.
Over 50% of our kids are in foreign language on a given year, which is the national average is something like between 5 and 10%.
The town of Ashland may be steadily growing, but the school population is not. The average newcomer is a retiree from the San Francisco Bay Area. Still, the newcomers place a high value on education here, and they still want to contribute to the success of Ashland Public Schools. Roseburg High School is on the other end of the scale, 1,400 students in the top 3 grades. The district has resisted splitting the high school, like Grants Pass, Medford, and Klamath Falls did.
We're still a one-horse town in terms of a high school, and that has great advantages for us. Kids that go through our system know that someday they're going to be a Roseburg Indian. Therefore, they begin to focus on what our expectations are.
Roseburg High School has always tried to be everything to every student. Vocational offerings are very important in this working-class community, so upgrading equipment keeps the program relevant with today's technology. Plus, the school took a bold step a year ago, reorganizing the school like a small college campus.
We've gone from 13 departments down to 6 divisions, and target time during each school day where we focus on goals and try to analyze the kind of progress we're making with those division leaders.
Now students can take a full class load that relates directly to their interests. After spending 2 hours a day in the shop, for instance, a student can then take vocational math and business, that way learning to solve problems in a practical context. Continually analyzing needs and then finding ways to meet them is the Roseburg way, a way that's certain to keep Roseburg High School a vital center for the community. For the pregame show, I'm Ron Carlson, Channel 2 Sports.
Both Roseburg and Ashland won't hesitate to admit it takes a total team effort to make it this far. Well, Ashland has taken the team philosophy one more step. Bob Akamian reports from Ashland's radio broadcast booth.
Look, grab it, look! No dribble! No dribble! Can't dribble, guys!
Jerry Houck has led the Ashland boys basketball team to plenty of success in the past 10 seasons. In fact, he gave up his spot on the football staff to have some time off in the fall. That was until this year.
Second down and 7 for the Tigers have 9:15 left in the third quarter as they trail 20-3, trying to get a little drive going. They have the ball at the Grizzly 47-yard line.
Houck gave up his Friday nights when the regular Ashland play-by-play announcer had to step down. And that was just 5 days before the first game. Houck had done some guest commentary on radio before, but never had been the lead man in the booth.
I'm a preacher's kid. A lot of people wouldn't believe that. And some things are given to you by God, I guess, just a natural gift of God. And I could grow a lot of flowers around where I speak, so it works real well. And it just came natural, I guess. It's been very easy.
Experience or none, Jerry does a pretty good job of it. And he doesn't worry about having any conflict of interest.
I've taken the approach that I'm an Ashland High School coach, and I'm presenting the game to the Ashland fans. And I tell the fans that, anybody listening, I'm a coach at Ashland. Am I biased? Yes.
In the third quarter, leading 20-6. Burt brings the team to the line of scrimmage. He drops right straight back. Pump fakes to Bobby Foote. A familiar little in and out kind of gets the ball to 40, 45. Then across midfield, 45 to Tigers. Down to 40. She got 45 to 40. Touchdown,
Kind of fun being on the other side. I actually got to interview someone for the first time this year, and I've always been the one being interviewed. And I wondered what it was like, and again, I didn't ask a lot of what I consider dumb questions because I knew what they were like.
For the pregame show, I'm Bob Akamian, Channel 2 Sports.
Here we go, let's get there!
The Ashland Roseburg pregame report continues with final thoughts before today's championship game after a quick timeout.
Championship game. Preparations are over. Ashland and Roseburg will now do their talking on the football field.
Being in Eugene, close, we get a lot of folks here from Roseburg, and then playing against a conference team that we know and respect, and our communities, I think, have good feelings between the two. There's a lot of competition, but still, each school respects each other's programs. And I think it's a special thing. Obviously, the first time that it's happened, it's got to be a special thing to have two teams from the same conference play.
I'm just lucky to be working with very articulate, intelligent young men that have a lot of class about them. And I think that's one of the things that I've been most proud about this group. You know, they're not only a joy to be around on the football field and game day, but they're fun to be around all the time because they're the type of kids you enjoy having over with your family and having a barbecue, and they're just great kids.
Even a lot of people in Ashland, didn't want to play Roseburg. They think Roseburg, them being one of the biggest teams in the state and us being the smallest, they just think that Ashland can't do it. I mean, we'll see Saturday.
It's different playing the same school twice. I know basketball coaches are used to that, but football coaches certainly aren't. And so it makes for a unique situation. We kind of pull out the old scouting report that we had 10 weeks ago and looked that over, and they haven't changed a whole lot, and I'm sure they've done the same thing as far as we're concerned, too.
We really developed since then, and they've really developed since then. So, I picture us as being two different teams that played the third week in the in the season. Hopefully, both teams are going to be incredible.
Channel 2 Sports pregame report gave you an in-depth look at both teams, both schools, both towns, to give you an idea what today's game means to those involved. It's now time to play some football. So join Ron Carlson, Oregon City coach Ed Burton, and me for all the action live from Autzen Stadium, Eugene. Ashland and Roseburg for the State AAA Football Championship. Coming up next, right here on Channel 2. I'm Steve Arena. Enjoy the game.
You've been watching the Ashland Roseburg State Championship pregame report, a Channel 2 sports presentation. Live from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, KATU Channel 2 Sports presents the 1989 OSAA U.S. Bank AAA High School Football Championship game. The Ashland Grizzlies versus the Roseburg Indians.
Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to State Championship Football. Ashland and Roseburg ready to kick it off for the title. Joining me for today's telecast is Oregon City football coach Ed Burton and Channel 2's Ron Carlson. Ron, a great day for Southern Oregon football, huh?
It seems that way every year, Steve. We've done this broadcast 3 times now, and of course, Roseburg's in it for the 3rd straight year, but for the first time ever in AAA playoff history, 2 schools from the same conference are in it, with Ashland joining in. Of course, Roseburg's an old hat with this as far as being in the playoffs, their 10th straight year. Ashland, this is their first ever playoff game for the final, so it should be interesting to see how both teams handle that.
All right, Coach, a classic matchup today. Roseburg's power against Ashland's speed and quickness.
Exactly right, Steve. There are lots of great matchups, outstanding coaching on both sides, great players on both sides, and we're looking forward to a fantastic game.
All right, we're glad to have you with us today. Let's go to the Ashland and Roseburg marching band for today's national anthem. We'll get to the national anthem momentarily. A beautiful day in Eugene. Overcast skies. It's dry, and that's the main thing.
That's right, Steve. And this will give each team an opportunity to really do what they do best, not having to worry about wet ground or anything like that. So it should be a lot of fun. And as we were talking about it before the game, it should give each team, especially Ashland, an advantage because their quickness and speed will really show up on the turf today.
The past 3 years, Roseburg has been here. They have the playoff experience. They know what to expect in a situation where Ashland doesn't, and that's got to be an advantage.
I would think so, but we were talking to Coach Bill Dressel from Benson, who was here last year, Steve, and he said, a lot of times it helps just to be naive about the situation and maybe not really know what you're in for. He said he thought that helped his kids last year. They were real loose coming into the ball game and played a great game as a result. Roseburg, maybe a lot of pressure on these kids because here they've been here 2 years in a row, lost 2 years in a row. Nobody has ever been here 3 times in a row and lost all 3 games, so some added pressure on those kids today.
Ashland enters the game with a perfect 13-0 record. Roseburg is 11-1. Of course, Roseburg's only loss came to Ashland in the 3rd week of the season. 28-14 the final in Ashland. Okay, now down to the field for today's national anthem. Coin toss, and they have elected to receive the 1989 OSAA U.S. Bank High School AAA State Football Championship game is about to begin. And we're glad to have you with us today. Ron Carlson, Oregon City football coach Ed Burton, glad to have you with us today. Coach, first of all, you've been in a coaching situation in the playoffs. What's going through the coaches' minds right now?
There's an awful lot of nervousness right now, Steve. The game is finally to a point where we're ready to play. A lot of hard work has gone into this time. And this is what they're looking forward to now. Now they can have fun.
Sometimes I imagine it's hard to tone down that enthusiasm, isn't it?
In this game particularly, when you have the community and everyone so involved in the game, the excitement has got to be tremendously high. And as the example of the communities is here now.
Okay, Kevin Green kicks it off for Ashland. A squibber Picked up at the 30-yard line by Roseburg. Rich Rule. He works his way up to the 35, and we're underway. Ashland in their home black uniforms with orange trim. Ashland in white with red numbers and red trim.
Coach, does it affect you to see a team with black on the other side? That just looks real menacing to me.
I know the color itself is intimidating. The numbers on the uniforms are even extra big, and everything is, at this point, is very exciting and intimidating on both sides. The white of the Ashland uniforms increases their speed, so there are benefits to both sides.
Pokey Fugate's handoff right up the middle to John Young, and that's really what we expect from Roseburg today. They're very ball-controlled style offense. They like to work it on the ground.
In fact, Coach Burton was telling me before the game, Steve, that Coach Bell comes into this game with a lot of plays drawn up ahead of time. What, the first 10 plays or so, Coach? He wants to see what the defense is going to do, and then they'll go from there?
I would expect Coach Bell to have about 10 basic plays that he's going to run right off the bat to get an idea of what the defense is doing.
There you get a good look at the Roseburg offensive line. Pokey Fugate calling the signals. Jamie Burke in motion, handoff to Greg Fogel. And the Ashland defense is there to greet Greg. Greg, of course, led Roseburg in rushing this year with over 1,200 yards.
This isn't surprising, Steve, to see Roseburg start out like this. They started out like this last year when we watched the game, just trying to feel the defense out. And, in fact, last year on their first possession, they ran 3 plays and punted to Benson. And then as the game went on, they started opening things up. But they want, I'm sure, to get a feel for Ashland and make them respect that run and first handoff to Young.
I think the first quarter is important to both teams. Roseburg has outscored its opponent 115-34 in the first quarter, where Ashland has outscored its opponent 103-19. So both teams like to get on the board early in the game. Third down situation, penalty marker on the play. That's Greg Fogel.
He's got
across the 50. He could go all the way. Remember, there is a penalty marker on the play as Greg Fogel scampers into the end zone, but we do have a marker. Early indications. Are pointing towards.
I saw some Roseburg players jumping around.
Penalty against Ashland. It could be touchdown Roseburg. As we take a look at Greg Fogel, look at that. And each year, we've had a game breaker.
We've got an illegal formation. Black team.
That's coming back. It's against Roseburg. The Roseburg players were jumping up and down after they talked to the official. So it gave us the indication that it was against Ashland, but it's not.
Well, they must have said it was against the Southern Oregon Conference team, and they started jumping around and got confused, I guess.
So
there could have been a on the motion penalty on that, Steve. It could have been moving forward before the snap of the ball.
It's placed down at the 33.
Well, here's an emotional tester right off the bat, I would think, Coach. You know, you've got an opportunity to go up quickly, 7-0, and then you come back with the penalty, and how your team responds here, I would think, is very important.
Exactly. Of course, this just tells Roseburg that we can score, and so it should, you know, motivate them in any way.
Fugate.
He's open.
Complete. That's Fogel across the 50, inside the 40-yard line. So Roseburg's coming out with some big plays on a 3rd and 11. They get the first down. The pass complete to Greg Fogel.
A 23-yard pickup, Steve, and just like Coach and us were talking about, here we go. They swing Fogel out of the backfield. He's wide open, and he takes off down sideline avenue for a 23-yard pickup and a first down.
Fogel, of course, gives you that speed outside, and he has shown it twice so far today. His 60-yard touchdown run called back by the penalty, but Roseburg, 1st and 10, still on the move at Ashland's 37-yard line. The hand up the middle to John Young. Sometimes that looks like a nothing play, Coach, but then that play is designed to set other things up, isn't it?
Thurman has come out now with 2 outside plays, the sweep to Fogel and then the pass to Fogel, forcing Ashland to move outside defensively, and then he turns right around and hands it up the middle.
That's one thing Coach Bill Dressel of Benson said was so tough about these guys is they make you defense the whole field.
Exactly.
Black and Mike Gray are split wide. Young and Fogel in the backfield with Pokey Fugate. The handoff to Fogel. There's that Ashland defense, and they need that all day.
Number 54 in there right away, Aaron Sturdivant for Ashland, and they had that one snuffed out.
When you watch Roseburg run today, they will run predominantly right in the direction of number 78, Heath Howington. 310 pounds on that right side of the line, and he could open up some pretty big holes, can't he?
Don't forget the guard right next to him is about 260. So between the two, that's about 500 pounds of beef to run behind over there.
They feel like they're playing against a small college line here.
From the 38, Rich Rule in motion to the far side, and we have movement.
We have a flag.
Just as, wouldn't you know it, just as we give Heath Howington a compliment, he goes and jumps offside.
A little anxious, a little nervous.
We have a false start, number 78, flag.
Of course, let's balance that. Heath just got a great honor yesterday, being named as the Gatorade Oregon High School Football Player of the Year, and he's the only one picked from the state. They pick one from each state. What an honor for him.
Well, certainly deserving, that is for sure. The officials for today's game, Dick Lozo, the referee, Don Glavinsky, Ted Venables, and Dave Sorensen. They're from the Portland Football Officials Association. And you know they'll do a great job today. Third down, 15, Roseburg. We are just underway at Autzen Stadium, Eugene. No score. Fugate back to pass, has some room. But the Ashland, swarming Ashland defense stops him.
At this point, I think it's really amazing. Ashland's defense is dominating the offensive line, and it's a critical point in the ball game.
And that forces the Roseburg punt formation.
You know, Coach, it's interesting. Not many people would think the first play or drive of the game would be critical, but you're saying it is right off the bat, huh?
The Indians, in order for the Indians to win, it's critical that they keep the ball away from Ashland. Ashland is so explosive and so quick to score that
Jamie Burt's punt goes into the end zone. Ashland will have its first possession after we go to a timeout commercial. No score, first quarter. Don't miss first quarter. Ashland with its first possession. And look out for these guys.
The Smurfs are wide right.
That's right. Matt Wells and Bobby Foote, two 5'7" receivers, are split to the same side. Chad Cota in the backfield. Bert Peterson calling the signals. The handoff, Dan Buchanan has got some room across the 30, 35, 40, 45, across midfield. And finally brought down inside the 30-yard line. Dan Buchanan, Ashland has broken it open early.
Steve, I don't believe it. Last year, the almost exact same thing happened, except with Kenny Bond of Benson breaking it for 69 yards. And here we go with Buchanan, first play from scrimmage. And again, the Roseburg defense giving up a big play on the very first snap from scrimmage for the opposition. A 45-yard run for Buchanan right down the sidelines before he's tackled out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
First and 10, Ashland from Roseburg's 30-yard line. There you see the offense of Ashland, the backs and receivers, Bert Peterson, Dan Buchanan, Scott McKee, Chad Cota, Brent Tobiason, and Matthew Wells. Ian Lombard, Alan Carver, Darren Axon, Aaron Sturdivant, and Sean Foxley make up the offensive line. Ashland 13-0. They beat Roseburg the third week of the season, 28-14. That game played in Ashland. And we have the rematch today for the state championship. First and 10. Bert Peterson back to pass. Look out. He gets it off complete to Bobby Foote. Across the 20, inside the 15-yard line.
I'll tell you, these guys are a lot of fun to watch, aren't they? What wide open football. And Jim Nagel says, we just love to teach these guys to play a football game that is not only fun to play, but fun to watch. And look at the first two plays from scrimmage, Coach, just tremendously wide open football.
Bert Peterson is phenomenal. He threw the ball with the defensive end hanging all over him.
Boy, he didn't move, did he? He stood really strong in the pocket, got the ball to Bobby Foote, a gain of 16. First and 10, Ashland, fumbled snap. It's still loose.
Fumble on the play.
Roseburg football. Oh, man.
That's Brad Simmons on the ball for the Indians, and what a change again of emotion. That's two big switches we've had right here in the first quarter already, and a big test now for Ashland to come back on defense. Look at that, only 15 turnovers in 13 games. As we said in the pregame show, a plus 25 turnover ratio for the entire season. You just don't see that happen very often.
That's very uncharacteristic of Ashland, and Jim Nagel said that's the one thing we've got to do today is not make any mistakes. Error-free football. But there's a big turnover right there. Roseburg with the ball on its own 14-yard line. 1st and 10. Pokey Fugate calling the signals. Jamie Burke in motion to the near side. And the pitch goes to Fogel.
Coach, I would think it's really unusual to see trouble with the center snap. You've had it all year long. Why would something like, is it just nerves in the early part of the ball game or what?
It could be nerves. It could also have been a situation where Peterson, the quarterback, was changing a play at the line of scrimmage. If the linemen don't pick it up or if the center doesn't pick it up, you could have a snap problem there. Both of these quarterbacks will be changing plays at the line of scrimmage. They do an excellent job of that.
A gain of 1 on the play, 2nd down and 9. The ball spotted at Roseburg's 15-yard line. First quarter, no score. But both teams have moved the ball. The pitch to Fogel turns it upfield. But boy, that Ashland defense is playing some kind of ball right now, aren't they?
That's great speed. That's the quickness at stopping the veer. They're playing it just like they need to. They must maintain an attack attitude in stopping the veer.
Mark Turgeson with the stop for Ashland number 66, and that was great pursuit on that one.
Basically no gain on the play. Brings about a 3rd down and 9. The clock running, approaching 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. That's Rule in motion. Fugate to pass. Complete.
Very
to Rule.
Real close to the first down, Steve. It's really going to be an important marking here, but it's very close to the first down.
Looks like it's short.
Key factor here is field position. Roseburg won't take a chance at this part of the field.
It is short, and that forces a Roseburg punt. Of course, Jamie Burke will punt the ball for the Indians, and the speedy Bobby Foote is back for Ashland. Bobby at the 50-yard line. So barring any kind of a turnover, Ashland should be. Oh, they block it.
It's blocked.
It's in the end zone.
In the end zone.
Oh, he waited.
Can't quite get it.
Good
The difference
effort
between a touchdown and a touchback. It'll be
a safety. Ashland.
Correct.
So the Grizzlies strike. They block Jamie Burke's punt. Here it is again. Look at that. 3 guys in there.
Quickness from the outside. What a tremendous effort on the block. And here we go. The ball just bouncing around. And he just can't quite keep it in. I think.
Oh, he knew it too. That's Brent Tobias. And so Ashland is on the board first. 2-0. First quarter. We'll be back. Coach Ed Burton. Ashland on the board early, 2-0, thanks to a block punt for a safety. And Roseburg is kicking off. Ashland with the ball on the short squibber kick. And Ashland comes back with great field position. Remember, they moved the ball awfully well the first time they had it.
And they're starting off with, as you say, great field position. And you just can't emphasize enough what this turf does for Ashland. They don't get to play on it all year long, and then they come in here, except in the playoffs, of course, they've had an opportunity, but they don't play on a turf field, and they come in here, and it just makes them look even faster at Autzen Stadium.
Right, I thought Jason Brumble did a great job there fielding that kickoff. Those are tough to handle, aren't they? Especially in a championship game. Okay, Bert Peterson calling the signals for Ashland. The Grizzlies up 2-0. And you can pretty much expect them to open it up again. Looks like he's changing the call. Back to pass goes Peterson. Being pressured.
Runs it out of the first down. Looks like he's right at the first down marker. Great job of eluding the rush once again. That's twice that he's had pressure on him, right? He's about ready to let go of the ball, and he gets away.
Just tremendous composure for a high school quarterback.
Defensive line of Roseburg. Malore, Mills, Simmons, Olson, Sean Michael. Defensive backs, Rich Rule, John Young, Mike Gray, Todd Black, Jamie Burke, and Adam Lynn. And they've got their work cut out for them today. Ashland with the ball. 1st and 10 from Roseburg's 39-yard line. Inside 4 minutes to play, first quarter. Ashland up 2-0. Get a good look at Bert Peterson, and he's back to pass again. He's going deep.
He's open.
Complete. Touchdown. Bobby Foote.
It's interesting to see how the Indians are defensing the Ashland Grizzlies. They're lining up with a 3-man rush and trying to maximize the defensive secondary coverage. But here's, again, where speed gets behind the defender.
Boy, look at that. Foot has him beat, too. Boy, look at that. Great play, Ashland. You know, and we've mentioned it all along. Roseburg, with its power, has had troubles covering the speed, haven't they?
That's exactly right.
Matt Wells to attempt the extra point. Bobby Foote will hold the snap. Kick is up and good. Ashland 9, Roseburg nothing. We'll be back. A great crowd on hand today. They're all seated on the near side, the side our cameras are on, so you don't see them across the way, but they're packed to the near side. The short kickoff to Rich Rule, Roseburg, and he works his way up close to the 40-yard line, and that's where the Indians will take over 1st and 10. There you see a good look at the crowd, and they've packed the place on the near side, haven't they?
Boy, they have. They've seen a good ball game so far, too. Peterson doing a great job with passing so far. Now look at the stats, Steve. 2 passes, 54 yards, 1 touchdown. You ask for a better start than that.
Well, that's Ashland's game plan. They like to get out early, and Roseburg coach doesn't like to try to come from behind. Their style of play dictates ball control and taking time off the clock.
Exactly.
1st and 10, Roseburg. From its own 38-yard line. That's Rule in motion to the near side. The pitch to Fogel.
He's got lots of room.
Greg Fogel across midfield and out of bounds. You know, it's interesting to talk about that last game on the 3rd week of the season between these two teams. Roseburg fumbled the ball, turned it over the first 3 times it had it in the game, and Ashland turned those fumbles and turnovers into 20 points to lead 20-0 after the first quarter. Roseburg tried to come back, got it within 20-14, but then Ashland scored and then added a 2-point conversion in the 3rd to put it away. So Roseburg has been in this situation before against Ashland.
We're having some good success going wide so far with Fogel, though, Steve, even though Ashland is quick. That's 14-yard gain on that last run.
1st and 10, hand up the middle to John Young. A good gain for John. And these backs can get it done. John Young has scored 11 touchdowns just in the playoffs alone through 4 games. Greg Fogel has scored 7 touchdowns in 4 games of the playoffs.
And I think Roseburg isn't, you know, they know better than to panic right now. Gresham got up on him quick last week in the semis, and they were able to come back and really put it to them at the end of the game, winning that one big 42-20. So this deficit, really, they're not too worried about. I'm sure if they can get the ball control game going right now.
Exactly. I think Thurman Bell is experienced enough to know not to panic in these kinds of situations. Again, John Young. You won't see Roseburg changing the game plan just yet, will you?
Well, there's a great matchup going on, Steve, between the coaches. It's a guessing game whether Roseburg's going to go inside or go outside. Sometimes they've won, sometimes they haven't. The defense is doing an excellent job for Ashland, and again, the quickness of the Ashland defense has been strong so far.
You know, we've been emphasizing throughout the day Ashland's quickness offensively, but I think we've really seen it defensively. A swarming defense has really given Roseburg some troubles. 3rd down and 3, big play for the Indians. The ball just inside Ashland's 40-yard line. Rule in motion. Fugate has some room inside the 30.
Oh, man.
What a collision.
Did he get stood up? Looked like he ran into a cement truck there for a second. Then gained his wits again and kept going. Look at this pop he takes coming up right here near the sidelines. It's an 8-yard run for a 1st down. But look at this. Here comes the cement truck. He rolling full speed. Boom, right there. And
okay,
let's see.
That's Matt Wells that went down, and Matt is still down.
Matt's still down. I'm sorry. I didn't even know he was out of the play on that one.
Matt is a big force in Ashland's attack, both offensively and defensively. And he really took a hit from Pokey Fugate. So this is definitely bad news for Ashland. We certainly hope that Matt is okay. There you see the hit again.
Well,
Matt was a little low on that tackle for Matt.
Might have been. That's one of the most dangerous parts of making tackles, and that's a direct head-on. It's critical at this point where the position of the shoulder pads and everything. And that's what the coaches try to teach us, good angles and position of the body in making hits.
But Pokey Fugate had a head of steam, and he wasn't going to be denied on the play. And it was a one-on-one situation, and right now Matt Wells is still down on the field, and we certainly hope that he will be okay. Okay, 9-0 Ashland on top, but we've had a lot of excitement here in the first quarter.
A tremendous amount. You know, here's the hit again. Let's take a look at this. You really can't see it from this side.
Got a little low. Got the head a little low.
And Matt's head snapped to the left, I think, on that one, and that's where the concern would be in the neck area, I'm sure, Coach.
It wasn't head on, which is a good sign, but the
all right, he's up.
Falling back and hitting his head on the turf might have been the injury.
Oh, that's great news there. Look at him. He's walking off.
Well, it's always a good sign we don't see the stretcher coming across the field, I would think.
So Matt Wells walking off the field, and that is certainly great news.
And we get a thumbs up from the coach down there who's going across the field, so I would say we may see him again.
As you take a look at the Roseburg team, they're averaging 280 yards rushing so far in the playoffs. And we have seen a good indication why in the first quarter. They can move the ball.
Watch for a play coming right out at Wells' position where they put in a substitute.
Let's test that guy right away,
That's Kevin Green, number 17. Handoff up the middle. The powerful John Young.
We thought they'd go outside, and there's Thurman Bell running the ball right up the middle. So that's the game plan.
Boy, this guy is powerful. Look at him just bowl his way through. Rushed for over 1,000 yards again for Roseburg this year. And he's really their bread and butter man inside, isn't he?
Well, he's leading the state, I think, in scoring in playoffs.
That's right,
and,
11 touchdowns.
He's got 66 points to his credit in just the 4 playoff games.
A gain of 9 on the play. 2nd down and 1. The ball inside Ashland's 20-yard line. The Grizzlies up 9-0, but Roseburg threatening. Fugate to the end zone.
I think he's got it.
Touchdown, Roseburg.
There's the test.
They're going to give it to him. Touchdown, Roseburg. Number 18, Todd Black with the reception. And they went to Wells' side, didn't they? Here you see the replay.
That's a great play by number 18.
Yeah, that ball is really up for grabs in a situation like that. It's just a matter of who can get to it and who wants it the most. They both actually came down with it, but it goes to the offense.
That's right. Simultaneous possession goes to the offense, so Roseburg strikes back.
Well, we were anticipating a back-and-forth ball game today, and you knew when it got to be 9-0 that wasn't the end of the show, that's for sure. We're really going to see a great ball game today.
Roseburg here for its 3rd straight year. This game means a lot to the seniors especially. Those players who are making their 3rd trip to the state championship game, and they want the title badly. Jamie Burke, the extra point, is up and good. So Roseburg is back in the ball game. 57-yard drive, capped off by the 19-yard touchdown pass to Todd Black, and the Indians cut the margin down to 9-7. Here's another look at the replay, simultaneous possession. That's Dan Buchanan and Todd Black wrestling for the ball. They give it to Black, and touchdown Roseburg.
Great test by the officials making that call.
Does he have the foot in bounds or not there, Coach?
Well, they were both in. There was no problem with that. But you're only going to be 50% right, according to the crowd.
We're just inside a minute to play, first quarter, and we've got a good ball game. Hope you've already made the popcorn and got your Coke and everything, because you don't want to turn away. We have a lot happening at Ashland Stadium, Eugene. The first time ever that 2 teams from the same conference are playing for the state championship. Roseburg and Ashland. Jamie Burke to kick it off for the Indians.
Bobby Foote.
Hey, are the Indians pumped up?
Yeah, that was the Roseburg welcoming committee there, welcoming Bobby to the game. Number 72 with the tackle, Troy Mills. And he's just coming from the blind side right here. Good afternoon.
Whoa, big hit. Big hit. So the momentum has suddenly turned to Roseburg's side as you get a good look at some of the crowd today. And they are packed into Ashland Stadium. And we have a timeout on the field. Ashland is taking timeout.
They didn't have enough guys on the field. They had to get another player.
So really an important series now for Ashland. They find themselves up 9-7, but a tremendous swing in momentum with Roseburg's touchdown drive, the fact they're right back in the game.
Well, actually, Roseburg hasn't proven that they can stop Ashland yet. And I think they've been able to move down the field. Ashland's just stopped themselves so far. So, Coach, obviously, Roseburg has their work cut out for them on defense. They have to prove to Ashland that they can stop them in this game.
Well, with 1 minute left to go in this quarter, I think Ashland is going to be looking to strike quickly again. They're going to try to get on the boards a couple times. And it's going to be, they're not going to change their game plan any.
Boy, support from the skies, huh? Go Ashland Grizzlies, flying above Autzen Stadium.
I wonder how much competition there was for that skyrider, whether Ashland or Roseburg was going to outbid for that skyriding plane.
I like the theme on the sky plane there, the capture your dream. What a great comment for the Ashland community.
Ashland, as you take a look at the graphic, has outscored its opponent 103-19 in the first quarter of this year. They're up 9-7 here in the first over Roseburg for the state championship. Bert Peterson changing the call again from the signal stop, and he may have taken too much time. And looking down on the field, we still don't see Matt Wells. Matt's still over on the sidelines. It'll be interesting to see if we'll see.
We got a dead ball foul. Enforcement. Black.
Well,
goes against Roseburg.
Boy, that's a critical penalty against the Indians. They had momentum. They're fired up. They've got Ashland deep in their own territory, and now they let them off the hook with an easy play.
Hey, Coach, they call it encroachment now. I guess they're trying to elevate our IQ, huh? Remember, it was just called offsides?
First down and 5. Ashland with the ball and a 2-point lead. Oh, look out. The pitch to Dan Buchanan. And that's Jamie Burke with the tackle.
Boy, Dan Rule was in there with a greeting for Peterson, though, just barely getting the pitch off in time. Look at number 46 on your screen here, Rule coming in. Pop, right there, but they get the pitch, and it goes for 9 yards. 10 yards, first down.
Rich Rule with the big hit on Peterson, but Burke was able to make the pitch just in time. The clock stopped, 28 seconds. Left to play in the first quarter. Ashland 9, Roseburg 7. Glad to have you with us in Eugene for the state AAA football championship game. First and 10. Chad Cota in motion. The handoff to Buchanan. And he is stopped short of the 30-yard line. Interesting to note that Chad Cota, really a powerful offensive player for Ashland, makes a lot of things happen. He really hasn't got his hands on the ball at all today so far.
He hasn't yet. Don't put him out of the picture, because he'll show up sometime today in a key play.
Exactly. Cota is very dangerous offensively for Ashland, but he had a pretty quiet first quarter of play. As time runs out in the first quarter, Ashland 9, Roseburg 7. Live.
I didn't see the call, whether it's a face mask or not, Steve, but look at this. It's just you just toss the ball out there and let foot run right underneath it. And we'll see if there's a face mask right there. It perhaps is, right underneath the helmet.
Greg Fogel with the tackle. And that's the call, face mask against Roseburg.
It's really interesting to see the dynamics of the game right now. Peterson, the Ashland quarterback, is changing several plays at the line of scrimmage. Roseburg, on the other hand, defensively is stemming, trying to give Peterson a bad read, a wrong read.
I've noticed that the last 3 or 4 calls, he's changed them at the line, hasn't he?
And Roseburg has stemmed their defense, moving players back and forth, trying to mess up his call.
Well, Coach Nagel talked about how intelligent his players were, and he's got a very intelligent quarterback to work with right there. He said there's nothing like an intelligent player to make you look smart as a coach.
That's a key statement and a key factor in the state playoff game is intelligence.
First and 10, Ashland. The ball just inside Roseburg's 40-yard line. Ashland up 9-7. The handoff, Buchanan. Off the right side, not much there.
Well, they do run the ball once in a while.
just to keep you honest.
That's right.
It's very interesting. Through the headset here, I hear Coach on the sideline yelling that it was a run. Coach Bell down there on the sideline might have a key or something when that run situation is going to happen.
You know, you talk about Ashland's run. They do run the ball. Buchanan has rushed for close to 1,200 yards this year, so he's their man in the backfield. Tough runner. 2nd down and 7. The ball at Roseburg's 35-yard line. Peterson still with the ball. The pass incomplete. Nice play fake on Peterson's part. The pass was intended for Buchanan, who came out of the backfield. The ball was just thrown behind him a little bit. As you see the replay.
Lots of time to throw, and this is what Roseburg doesn't want to do, is give him all day to throw. That really should have been a completion. I'm sure Buchanan would love to have that back.
Turn him around, though. The ball is a little bit behind him. Turn him around a bit. Boy, Bert Peterson has completed 58% of his passes this year, and we saw why right there. He has great protection.
That's right.
A lot of time. 3rd down and 7. Coda in motion.
And that's
Peterson
yelling to watch.
That's right. Gets away. Look at that. And he has some room, folks. Inside the 30, the 25, and finally out of bounds.
1st down. Again, that's the 2nd time we've seen it today when he's had the ability to elude the rush when Roseburg's been able to put it on him. Here they come. They should have him down in the backfield, it looks like, and he just slips out of there, fakes the pass, and goes to the outside. Bert Peterson, just an excellent job of running and getting the 1st down, an 11-yard pickup.
You notice Peterson didn't try to run head-on into the defensive back either.
No. Exactly.
He said, there's a lot more to this game to play.
Get me out of bounds. Sidelines, where are you? 1st down and 10. Ashland on the move. They lead 9-7. The ball at Roseburg's 23-yard line. A good look at Bert Peterson. The handoff to Buchanan. Look out. Touchdown, Ashland.
Well, that middle opened up like the great divide on that one. A 23-yard run. And just when you're looking for them to go outside with the pass, Coach, they come right up the middle. Look at this blocking in here.
Nothing fancy at all. Right up the middle. And it's history from there.
I would bet that was an audible as to what area of the line that they were going to run. They just looked at the Roseburg defense, found the hole, and called that hole right there.
Boy, impressive play, huh?
He was like one of the untouchables on that one. There was just nobody close to him.
Okay, look who's kicking the extra point. Matt Wells. He's okay. He's in for the extra point. No good.
I don't know. The kick was awfully low and hit in the middle of the lineman.
The extra point is no good, but Ashland leads 15-7. That's our score in the 2nd quarter. We'll be back.
At this very special time of year, our family extends warm wishes and sincere thanks to some very special people, our friends and our customers. We wish you the happiest of holidays and a joyful new year. Happy holidays from the Thomasons.
You all know Payless as a drugstore. But you may not know that Payless also carries hundreds of quality name brand products. Familiar names you know and trust. And for your convenience, Payless welcomes American Express cards. So you can purchase what you need now with the card you can depend on. The American Express and Optima cards, now welcome at Payless drugstores.
We have a dandy for you. Ashland 15, Roseburg 7, 2nd quarter. Ashland completed an 83-yard drive in 7 plays, used almost a minute and a half on the clock. Kevin Green with the kickoff. It's a short squibber, picked up again by Rich Rule. And he's up near the 40-yard line, so Roseburg will begin with pretty good field position.
And my apologies to the Rule family. I called Rich Dan earlier. Dan, of course, plays for Lewis and Clark up in Portland. Rich, of course, plays for Roseburg. So we got that straightened out. But again, Steve, Ashland once again moving the ball, and Coach Roseburg just not able to stop him.
Okay, there you get a good look at Matt Wells. Looks like they're working on his left shoulder could have been injured in that head-on collision with Pokey Fugate. And speaking of Fugate, he
nice defense.
Trying to pass it to Greg Fogel. Nice defensive play by Bobby Foote.
Coach, let's get back to what I talked to you about or asked you about just a moment ago. Well, here, as we're taking a look at this great defensive play by Bobby Foote here, what about Roseburg now? That's got to hurt their confidence to know they haven't stopped the Indians, or haven't stopped the Grizzlies yet.
Exactly. The speed, again, we keep harping about the speed, but they're going to have to stop the speed on both passing and running in order to succeed.
2nd down and 10. Roseburg with the ball, down 15-7. Rule in motion to the far side. The pitch goes to Fogel. Trying to turn the corner.
Good pursuit.
There's that Ashland defense.
I just don't think Roseburg can be successful running sideline to sideline. Got to get the ball upfield and then control that way.
A lot's made of the Ashland offense and their ability to score. And quite frankly, I think the Ashland defense is slided a lot of times because you look at how many points the offense is putting on the board. But this defense has done a tremendous job all year long stopping the opposition, holding the Tiger to just 6 points last week, and they've done it throughout the playoffs, holding of opposition to just 159 points in 13 games.
Fugate with the pass across the middle.
Oh, my gosh, what a catch.
Oh, that's Chad Cota.
There's Cota making a great play.
Oh, what an interception.
That's NFL kind of catching there. That's Brian Blades kind of stuff with the Seahawks. Look at this. One-handed.
One-handed, pull it in.
Pull it into the bread box, and we're going the other way.
That's an All-American play. Chad Cota. We mentioned we hadn't heard much from Chad offensively in the first quarter. Well, that makes up for it, even though it was defense, huh?
They practiced one-handed in warm-ups before the game, and it paid off right there.
I don't know if you can practice that play, though.
That's athletic ability.
First down and 10. Ashland with the ball and a 15-7 lead. The ball at the Grizzlies' 37-yard line. Peterson, nice play fake. Throws incomplete. The intended receiver was Dan Buchanan.
What is it? Is Buchanan quicker than he expects today? That's 2 behind him.
Well, he's, again, he's only a 5'8", 160-pound back. He's very fast. You see him running touchdowns up the middle. You see him catching passes out of the backfield. Key player.
Matt Wells, number 3, Ashland, back in the lineup, and that is certainly good news. Matt went down in the first quarter in a collision with Pokey Fugate, but he's back, and he's split here to the near side.
2 great athletes out there.
Fogel and Wells. That's quite a matchup, isn't it? Peterson again, play fake.
Oh, my
Far
God.
side wide
too
open.
Bad. Boy, he was more open than an all-night supermarket on that one. Too bad he couldn't get it to him.
Scott McKee wide open. Thurman Bell right now, coach, is just going to be shaking his head. A
Well,
breakdown in the secondary there.
I would think he's a little bit nervous. Thurman's not going to shake his head too much. He's going to just turn up the intensity maybe a little bit, and then, of course, hope it rubs off on some of the kids.
Coach, I know what the problem was. He didn't come over and rub your shaved head before the game for good luck, did he?
Well, he talked about shaving his own head. I don't know what he's doing. Some guys will do anything for this game.
3rd down and 10. Ashland with the ball on its own 37. Peterson straight back, getting pressured. Gets the ball off complete.
Not enough for the first down, though. Foot's going to be short.
Bobby Foote with the catch.
Well, you see him trying to increase the pressure, at least, on Peterson right now. They're bringing some extra pressure on him from the outside, aren't
Well,
they?
they did that time. They brought the whole kitchen sink with black uniforms and forced a quick pass, forced a short game. Now they'll get the ball back.
Okay, Peterson turns from quarterback to punter. He's back for Ashland, averaging close to 37 yards a punt this year. And back for Roseburg is Mike Gray and Todd Black.
And the Indians finally stopped him. A key point in the game right here, Steve. First punt of the day for Ashland.
Peterson gets it off. And it comes down to Black. And he's down at his own 26-yard line. 15-7, Ashland leads. Second quarter, and we'll be back.
Add a little power to your profits. Rent from Power Rents, where the difference is service. For construction, for industry, only Power Rents gives you tons of the brand new big name equipment you need to tear through tough jobs fast. Only Power Rents gives you 3 locations. One stop does it. And only Power Rents gives you 24-hour radio dispatch service. With Power Rents, there's no such thing as an emergency. Put a little power in your profits. Rent from Power Rents, where the difference is service.
Gee, I'd like some hiking boots.
A huffy bike. G.I. Joe's has just what I'd like.
A Conair phone.
Some new head skis.
G.I. Joe's has the gift for me.
A Garcia reel.
A wicker cream.
The Lycra tights.
A timing light.
Nike shoes.
Cordless tools.
A car stereo. Gee, I'd like a gift from G.I. Joe's.
Welcome back to Watson Stadium, Eugene. Roseburg with the ball on its own 26-yard line. The Indians down 15-7 second quarter. First down and 10. That's Rich Rule in motion to the far side. The pitch to Fogel near side. And he has some room. That time they were able to turn the corner, Coach.
Fogel is such a tremendous player and runner on the veer. When he gets the pitch, he throttles down just a little bit, waits for the key block.
Boy, there's Heath Howington, number 78.
Look at the kick out.
Boy, there's a smoother mover for you.
How would you like to have that coming at you, huh?
Well, look what he does.
Exactly.
Fogel just sits out there and waits for that block and then makes his cut.
Boy, great job from our camera people, giving you the play from the line. A gain of 15 on the play by Fogel. First down and 10. The handoff to John Young up the middle. Across the 40, up to about the 43-yard line.
Well, a good momentum opportunity or momentum chance for a switch here, Coach. I would think that here's somebody hurt on the play.
Looks like Ian
73.
Lombard, number 73.
Boy, he's a guy who's on both sides of the ball for Ashland, too. That could be a key loss if he can't come back.
We talked to Ian earlier this week. He's a member of the All-State Choir team. A versatile young man. And we certainly hope this isn't serious. They're working on, looks like his right knee. Ian hopes to go to Princeton when he goes to college.
Another one of those intelligent kids they've got on that team.
So as they take a look at Ian Lombard, a good chance now to kind of sum up what has happened to this point. Both teams able to move the ball. Ashland really hasn't been stopped at this point.
Just the last time they had the ball, which I think is a real key point right now, Coach, don't you? Because Roseburg's finally proven that they can stop Ashland, and now they have a chance to get back into the ballgame if they can put a long drive together.
I believe it would be Thurman Bell's idea at this time to get a long, sustained drive to take the whole remaining part of the second quarter and get into the end zone just before the end of the half. If he can do that, and then possibly go for two, he can tie this ball game up for the second half.
Okay, there you see Ian Lombard, and he's walking off on his own power. Now he's going to try to jog off. Look at that.
Well, he doesn't want Roseburg to get their hopes up, that's for sure.
He's heading over towards the bench. I'm sure they'll take a close-up look at him over there.
And not that Roseburg would cheer for something like that. I want to emphasize, this is a very friendly rivalry between these two schools. And Nagel and Bell both have great respect for each other and have a lot of fun when they're playing each other in football games.
7 minutes, 30 seconds to go, second quarter. Roseburg with the ball. There's John Young, and he's got room. Inside the 40-yard line, down to Ashland's 37. And there you go, Coach. I think they went right at Ian Lombard's spot, didn't they?
Exactly right. That's just a typical Thurman Bell play call right there.
Boy, he bounces off people like a bumper car, doesn't he?
Covers the ball up extremely well.
24-yard pickup on the play.
Once he gets some momentum and some speed behind him, that guy is tough to bring down. John Young. First down and 10. Roseburg on the move. Ashland's 37-yard line. Roseburg down 15-7. Rule again in motion. And that's John Young again. John for a couple. Again, we talk about the power game of Roseburg. Coach, do you think this kind of a style could wear down Ashland as time goes on?
Well, Ron made a very important point earlier. We've got 8 players for the Ashland Grizzlies that are playing both ways. If Roseburg can dominate with the power, then those kids will get awfully tired by the end of the game and have a little bit better effect.
John Young, 53 yards rushing to this point. So he's having a good day.
Nothing new for him. He's used to putting up the big numbers on the ground.
2nd down and 6. That's Young again.
Well, they're doing just what you talked about they should do on this drive, Coach, and that's try and eat up the clock and keep moving down the field with a nice, long, sustained drive. Now they're inside the 40-yard line down to the 33.
Alan Carver with a big play there.
What they'll try to do at this point is, rather than go for bombs, they've got a 3rd down, a key 3rd down play here in order to get the 1st down.
There you saw Thurman Bell on the sidelines. He's in complete control on the sidelines. 3rd down and 4. Big play for Roseburg. Rule in motion. Few games on the pitch. Bubble.
And that pitch went right in between Young and Fogel on that one, Steve. So I'm not sure who it was going to. I would guess it'd be to Fogel since they're going wide. But the pitch, look at this, goes right in between them. Right in front of Young and way out in front of Fogel, obviously.
Well, there might have been a mistake in the type of play that was being called. It looked like the fullback was running a sweep, but the quarterback was running an option. So that's what happens. Now they've lost a critical field position play.
So the mistake forces the punt formation for Roseburg. Jamie Burke back to punt for the Indians. Bobby Foote and Chad Cota back to receive for Ashland. Nice looking punt, and that's Foote at his own 10-yard line. Trying to make something happen.
Well, that's one of those times you wish you had a tear-away jersey, right?
Exactly. This is a critical point now. Ashland has the ball deep in their own territory, and that's exactly where Roseburg wants them.
Foote probably could have gotten away here if that jersey would have been a tearaway. Look at that. He's got him by the shoulder, and then he gets help.
Great coverage by the Indians.
Number 71 down for Roseburg is Chris Young. He was injured on the play. On the replay, you could see Chris get hit on the left side. Kind of a blind side hit, I believe, by his own teammate in the pileup. So Chris is down.
And he's one of Roseburg's starting offensive linemen, too, so this would be a key injury.
Okay, here's the replay right here.
Yeah, that leg get pushed. Yeah, he just gets pushed right back over on his own left. Ouch.
Looks like he's hit by Troy Mills, his teammate. You hate to see these injuries.
Chris Young, 6'2", 240-pound senior.
They're about ready to bring him up.
That left leg, right.
Left leg. You know, you really have to compliment the trainers and the medical people in high school sports nowadays. Gosh, when I played, way back in '73.
Back in the old days when you wore the leather helmet, right, Steve?
I mean, it was tough. Boy, nowadays, the medical staff, the trainers, are so educated, and they do such a great job. It's really good to see. 1st down and 10, Ashland. They lead at 15-7. 5 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the first half. Uh-oh, mix up. What are you going to do, Bert? Go for the sidelines. There he goes. Those are the kinds of plays you just kind of want to end them pretty fast and get out of bounds and not get hurt.
That looked like a trap play right up the middle to Buchanan. Quarterback turned one way, the fullback ran the other.
And Bert's going, hey, the trap's on me on this one. I got to get out of here and get into the barn. Shut the door.
Hey, but he did. He gained a yard on the play.
All right.
2nd down and 9.
9.5.
For Ashland, deep in its own territory. We are at the 5-minute mark. First half. Grizzlies lead at 15-7. Peterson to throw deep in his own territory. Intercepted. Roseburg, that's Rich Ruhl. Down to Ashland's 5-yard line. Critical interception.
Big mix-up on the pattern, too, because there really wasn't anybody from Ashland around where he threw the ball, Coach. I don't know if you saw that, but Ruhl was really the only one in the area. Look at this. Here's the pass. I don't see, well, I see, there it is. It's going to Wells, but it's well underthrown.
Hey, guys, another dandy interception. A one-handed job by Rich Ruhl.
These guys know how to play up to the TV, don't they?
No, they got great athletic ability. That's what it is, Ron. TV doesn't have anything involved with that.
Rich Ruhl, a young two-way starter, all league in for Roseburg Indians.
Big break for Roseburg. First and goal from Ashland 6. 2 turnovers now for Ashland. That's John Young down to the 1.
Well, with that kind of
Just
success.
about guess what's going on now.
Yeah. You think they'll go to Young next?
Behind who?
John scored 4 touchdowns last week in Roseburg's semifinal victory over Gresham.
Got a penalty. Against Roseburg.
That really hurts the Indians.
Well, that might change our play call now, Coach.
Want to bet?
Yeah.
Remember, Roseburg will get the down over.
So it'll be first and goal from the 11-yard line.
We've got a motion penalty against the black player with jumping around in the backfield and not scored. First down.
Technically speaking.
Roseburg now 5 penalties. Have cost them 30 yards. First and 11. 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Roseburg down 15-7. Rule in motion, the pitch to Fogel. And there's that swarming Ashland defense.
Number 2 right in there right away for Ashland, Dan Buchanan. And Fogel just didn't have anywhere to go.
Remind you, Buchanan is the fullback, the pass receiver, now the defensive guy making great tackles.
They got a lot of different hats to wear for that guy, don't they?
A lot of the Ashland players are in that situation,
That's
too.
right, you bet.
Chad Cota, the only time he doesn't play is on kickoffs, I believe.
That's exactly
and
right.
He probably wants to be in there then, too, if we know Chad very well.
Roseburg making its 3rd straight championship appearance. Second down and goal from Ashland's 11. Jamie Burke in motion to the near side. Fugate the pass. All alone, Rich Rule. Touchdown, Roseburg.
Beautiful call. Beautiful call. You get him looking for that run again, and Rule was just tremendously wide open on this one.
Boy, a great call by the Roseburg coaching staff. Nice play fake by Fugate, and look at who's all alone. Rich Rule, touchdown Indians. And gentlemen, we have a ball game.
Now what do you do, Coach? You go for 2?
I don't think Thurman will go for 2 here. He's got such an excellent kicker in Jamie Burke. But it looks like they might be.
Every time we think we got him figured out.
Well, Jamie Burke's out on the field, but
okay. But that doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't
necessarily.
mean anything. I think they're trying to decide right now.
Okay, well let's bet that back and forth.
You know, what would be the advantage of going for 2? There really is none, is there? Other than you go into the locker room tied.
Well, I think there's a.
Take a look at the replay there, and Fugate finding his receiver, Rich Rule, all alone.
Rich Rule makes a block just like a power play at the very beginning, and then he just kind of slides off and sneaks into the end zone.
Let's go back to what you were going to say about going for 2, Coach. The advantage or disadvantage of that right now.
Well, if you go in at halftime in a tie ball game, it's just like you've got 1 or 2 more quarters left to play, and you're still in. It's just a brand new ball game. If you go in down 1 point or 2 points, then you have to change your strategy a little bit. You have to play for different concepts and different positions later on. Remember, let's see, I think Ashland's going to get the ball coming out in the second half.
Right.
So you got to think about those things, and it looks like they're going to be going for 2.
And what's the difference really of being down 1 or 2 points? Why not go for it?
Right.
Here we go. Roseburg going for the 2-point conversion to tie it up. Fugate the pass.
Oh, what a catch. Great catch. Rich Rule again.
He's got it. The 2-point conversion is good. Great catch by Rule, and we've got ourselves a tie ball game. Tied up at 15 apiece. 3:35 left to play in the second quarter, and we have seen some dandy plays. We'll be back after a quick timeout. Roseburg, Fugate lobs it out to Rich Rule, and he makes a fantastic catch. They give it to him, 2-point conversion, and we're tied at 15. Roseburg to kick it off now.
Well, you talk about athletic ability. There it is again, Steve. I'm sure the swimming coach may be after him to join the diving team after that. Great effort.
A tremendous effort by Rich Rule. He makes the interception, scores the touchdown on a pass, and then the extra point on a pass.
The low line drive fielded by Dan Buchanan.
Oh, boy, he almost broke it.
across the 35-yard line, so Ashland will go to work with 3.5 minutes left to play in the first half.
Kevin Hardy with perhaps a touchdown-saving tackle on that one.
Ashland at the 36.
15-15 for the state AAA football championship. Ashland unbeaten in 13 games. Roseburg 11-1. 1st and 10 Grizzlies. Bert Peterson calling the signals for Ashland. Dan Buchanan in the backfield. Wells and Foot split. Peterson back to pass.
Finally got it.
And with the big play, John Young, huh? We've called his name a couple times today.
27 by John Young.
Well, Peterson finally had a tough time eluding the rush. Here we go. A great block here on number 44, John Young, or he could have been down a lot sooner. Look at that. Hands up in the air, keeping him from throwing.
I think you credit that sack.
John Young comes back and gets him again. Great pursuit. He didn't give up.
Credit that sack to the Roseburg secondary. They had everybody covered, didn't they?
Absolutely. That when you find a quarterback scrambling around back there, it's because his receivers are covered. And in the pros, I think they even make payoffs for guys who get sacks like that with coverage from the secondary.
And it's not easy to cover guys like Bobby Foote and Matt Wells and those types of receivers, those kind of small, quick receivers trying to make something happen. A loss of 9 on the play.
There's only 3 minutes left in the second quarter, but I wonder how long it takes a Grizzly to streak down the field. Doesn't take very long.
No, it doesn't.
They're dangerous all over.
Second down, 20 at the 26.
Versus a Grizzly streaking in the woods. Is that what you're saying, Coach?
I'm Steve Arena with Ron Carlson and Oregon City football coach Ed Burton. Coach, nice to have you with us today. I think we're seeing a great ball game.
Well, what a treat being here, and yes, it is a great ball game.
The only place you'd rather be is down on the field coaching a team down here, right?
Well, I'd love to change places with either one of these teams and coaches.
Peterson, pass incomplete. Intended receiver Brent Tobiasen. And that'll bring up 3rd and long for Ashland. 3rd and about 19.
Adam Lynn and Mike Gray.
I don't know if you're noticing it or if it's just me, Coach, but it looks like a little wind is out of the sails of Ashland right now. They haven't been completing their passes the last couple of times they've had the ball, and Peterson's just a little bit off, not quite as sharp as he was earlier in the ball game.
Well, Roseburg might have that 12th player on the field called momentum right now. It's a key factor at this point, and I think Roseburg's taking advantage of this change in score and field position.
Call it 3rd and 20. Ashland at its own 26-yard line. Draw play, Buchanan, and he has some room across the 35 up to the 38-yard line.
Not enough room, though, Steve. He's going to be about 6 yards short of the first down.
So Ashland will be forced to punt. Good call here, huh?
Great call. Buchanan again, one of the key players in today's game for Ashland. Almost breaking loose again.
Nice effort by Todd Black. So Peterson drops back to punt for Ashland. Black and Mike Gray are back to receive for Roseburg. The game tied at 15. Peterson with a good job handling the snap, and he gets off a dandy. Fair catch signaled by Black. And Roseburg will take over at its own 22-yard line with 2:01 left to play in the first half. You're watching today's game in Portland on KATU, in Eugene on KVAL, in Roseburg on KPIC, in the Ashland-Medford area on KOBI, and in Klamath Falls on KOTI. Glad to have you with us today. We've got a dandy. Game tied at 15, 2:01 left to play in the first half. Roseburg with the ball on its own 22-yard line. Roseburg with 2 timeouts remaining. Ashland with 1. That's Rule in motion. Fugate back to pass. Over the middle. Oh, overthrown, incomplete.
That was awful close to a pass interference call.
I don't think they'll call that one because the ball was over the receiver's head by quite a ways.
Yeah, not a catchable ball, right?
Not a catchable ball, so they wouldn't call an interference penalty on it.
Now, Coach, you could have caught that ball.
In my day, maybe I could have.
And here you get another look at it. The ball is way overthrown. And
It's over his head way before the hit, really.
Big hit by Brent Tobiasen.
Roseburg's got to be very careful here. They don't have much time to take the long play, but they can't afford a mistake like an interception.
1:52 left to play in the first half. Roseburg 15, Ashland 15 in the battle for the state AAA football championship. The pitch to Greg Fogel.
Penalty flag down.
And Fogel out of bounds at the 32.
Got a penalty flag sitting right about where the line of scrimmage was, Steve.
You can't see him tackle for the penalty.
Waiting for the preliminary signal by the officials.
We got a holding against the black team.
A 10-yard penalty, holding against Roseburg.
Who do you suppose is doing the booing about that call in the stands?
Well, I'm sure with two key penalty situations in the last two plays, a holding against Roseburg here and then the tackle against Ashland on the last play, tempers are getting a little fired up down there. They're being a little outspoken.
You have to deal with fired up parents at all ever, Coach?
Every game. And some practices.
There you see the signal. Holding against Roseburg. Takes the ball back to Roseburg's 12-yard line.
Well, maybe this is what the fans are booing about. Roseburg, 6 penalties for 40 yards. Ashland, 0 for 0.
Second down and 21. Pokey Fugate hands off to John Young. And he is collared by number 54, Ashland. And that's Aaron Sturdivant. Aaron active on both sides of the ball. And we have a timeout, Ashland. Ashland with the timeout. And our stats tell us that that is their last timeout of the half. The Grizzlies and Indians tied at 15. As a coach, Ed, it's an advantage for any team playing each other one time before. It's pretty unusual in high school football that you play each other twice. These two teams played back in the third week of the season, and they're meeting once again, 12 weeks down the line. Is that an advantage or disadvantage?
Well, if it's an advantage for one, it's the same for the other team. The key thing to remember that these are two completely different times of the season. Early in the season, there may be an injury or to one player or another player. It may be the condition of the field. It may be several factors that determine an outcome of a game earlier. The very fact that this is a state championship game with Roseburg being here 3 years in a row, these kids being veteran players of the state playoff game, Ashland being their first time here, and these kids being so keyed up and so hyper. There are just so many factors in a high school football game that may give an advantage or negate an advantage in this particular situation.
Thurman Bell and Jim Nagel. By the way, Jim Nagel, the head football coach at Ashland, isn't down on the sidelines. He's up above in the booth looking down on the action, making the calls from upstairs. Pokey Fugate, third down and 16. The draw to Fogel.
Well defense. They had 3 guys around Fogel on that to make the tackle.
So the Ashland defense holds, and Roseburg will be forced to punt. The clock shows 1:20 and running. Left to go in the first half. Tied at 15. And here comes Roseburg's punt team.
Roseburg's going to take as much time as they can here to try to get time off of that clock before they kick it.
Especially with Ashland's ability to throw the ball, you don't want to leave them too many ticks on the clock before halftime to get a touchdown that would really alter things right before halftime.
I notice only one man back for Ashland. That's Bobby Foote. Expect the Grizzlies to go all out for the block. They've already blocked one punt and it resulted in a safety.
The way Foote runs.
Here they come. They block another one. But it gets a big Roseburg bounce.
No.
Fields and net fumbles. And Roseburg ball.
What a turnaround. Foote had that thing perfect.
Now, is that enough for a first down?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is, by about 5 yards.
And they pick up the first down to boot. Can you believe that?
That was planned, wasn't it?
I don't think so. Ashland made a critical error there. Their own two kids going after the ball caused the fumble.
Now, Foot would have been just fine if he hadn't run into his own player here after fielding the ball.
Right.
He's got
right
it and
there.
Runs into number 55,
and there goes
Damian
the ball.
Jackson.
Fugate back to pass. He's going deep. Incomplete. Greg Fogel, the intended receiver.
Coach, there's one situation where you like the aggressiveness of Bobby Foot going after the ball, but maybe on the other hand, you kind of wish he would have just left it alone.
I don't think Ashland has it in their heart to leave those things laying on the ground. I think that's a key thing that has gotten them as far as they've gotten. They're very aggressive. They take chances. They have a lot of confidence, and they believe in themselves.
Penalty marker on the play.
No flag. No flag.
Disregard the flag. No penalty on the play. Second down and 10. Roseburg. 24 seconds left to go in the first half.
He's got to put a heavier weight on that thing so it doesn't come out of his pocket.
Coach, is Thurman going to unload it here?
I think he will. He's got great field position. He can afford to take a couple of chances. Not much time left.
From their own 37-yard line, the Indians. Hand off to John Young, and he's got some room, slips and falls.
Well, that's exactly what I've talked about a couple of times. When you think Thurman's going to take chances, he'll do something else. And I think, again, that's a factor that has made him a very successful coach at Roseburg.
All right, we have a timeout on the field, timeout Roseburg. So the Indians will talk about it a little bit. They've got 15 seconds left to go. Keep in mind, Jamie Burke, quality place kicker, and he can hit from 40, 42, 45 yards out.
Right, he's hit one from 43 yards out already this year, so that capability is definitely there.
Well, they'd have to get the ball down to about the 30-yard line, 25-yard line, somewhere in there for that range of field goal.
Just to get him into the range. Remember last year he nailed a field goal right at the end of the first half against Benson.
Certainly did.
Any kind of points you put on the board going into halftime has got to be a positive.
Well, that's certainly what they've done right here in the last couple minutes of the first half.
You know, I can't recall a more entertaining first half of football. Can you, from the high school ranks? We've seen it all.
This game, there are several factors that are making it great. The weather is perfect. The sun's out right now, but the clouds have come in. It's cool, but yet it's not a rainy or a wet surface. It's making it just a great thing. The two communities that are in the stands, and they're just great.
And well supported, too. Each community is really here in force. We got a good-sized crowd here today.
3rd down and 4. Roseburg from its own 43-yard line. Fugate back to pass.
Oh, he's hit right as he throws.
Complete. Burke near side, out of bounds.
Well, they're not far from the field goal range now. Coach, probably another 10-yard pass.
One more play like that, and they could get a field goal.
Watch the replay. Fugate just gets nailed here.
How that ball still got there is unbelievable. Still right on target.
Right on target. That's Jamie Burke, 21 yards on the play. And 8 seconds remain on the clock. 7 seconds ticked off on that play. So at best, Roseburg is looking for a quick sideline pattern of some sort, trying to get down to Jamie Burke's range. Fugate over the middle, incomplete.
Probably not the pattern you want anyway.
Now they still have a timeout left. They can
they
still
have a timeout.
Okay, you got me.
They can still stop at one time, but now only 4 seconds remain. I don't think they'll have time to stop it, will they?
Tough one on this one. This one they're going to have to go for the long one. Boy, hasn't Pokey Fugate shown some great composure. You know, Peterson in the first quarter, now Fugate in this quarter. Just two great leaders of high school football teams.
Fugate straight back. He's going for it all.
Too long.
Intercepted Buchanan. Out of bounds. And that's the end of the first half. You're watching the OSAA U.S. Bank AAA High School Football Championship game with the score Ashland 15, Roseburg 15. Now a look at the Oregon Schools Activities Association, the OSAA, the governing body of high school sports activities.
This year in Oregon, more than 80,000 boys and girls will participate in high school interscholastic activities, ranging from athletics such as football and basketball to non-athletic activities such as music and speech. The 68 state championship events and the contests which precede them are all conducted under the auspices of the Oregon School Activities Association, a nonprofit democratic organization created by the schools to establish uniform, equitable rules to govern high school activities in Oregon. Because of the personal and educational benefits of involvement in high school activities, national studies have consistently concluded that participation is extremely beneficial for students. The important role which high school activities play in the educational offerings in the state of Oregon has earned activities the title of the other half of education.
You're watching the OSAA U.S. Bank AAA High School Football Championship with the score, Ashland 15, Roseburg 15.